What's up gamers, DreamcastGuy here, and it's Top 10 Thursday. Recently, Sony has started putting out some of their best classic PS2 games on their modern hardware, but each one takes a lot of time to get working. As such, they've reached out to the fans to make suggestions as to what games they want to see come out next on the PS4. Since I have a giant PS2 collection, I figured just for fun, this week I'd count down my picks of the top 10 awesome PS2 games I want on the PlayStation 4. Number 10. Psi-ops: The Mindgate Conspiracy. At the opening of this game, our hero awakens in a jail cell with no memories, but with a strange power to be able to move objects with his mind. Escaping from prison is only the first of your troubles though. It's up to you to stop a massive, evil army known only as the Movement. The farther you get in the game, the more your brain is unlocked, helping you to remember who you are, what your mission was, and best of all, giving you even more powerful abilities. As you gain more talents and delve deeper into the mystery, it's hard not to feel like there's a giant secret always lurking beneath the surface. The developers of this game were very clever, and I'd be very curious to see what they'd do with a re-release, what kind of odd trophies they'd put in just to test us. Number 9. Katamari Damacy. With all the interesting indie games that come out on PS4, it's building a reputation as a place for great experimental titles. Games that wouldn't fit in anywhere else feel right at home here, and that's why I think this bizarre adventure would be a perfect fit for the console. In Katamari Damacy, you're playing as the Prince of all Cosmos. After your dad gets totally wasted one night and destroys all the stars in the sky, it's now your job to try and clean up his mess. How is this done? Well, by rolling around a giant magic ball to form all new lights for the night sky. While the game is based on such a simple concept, it's surprisingly addictive. You have to start out small, just picking up batteries or tiny dishes, until eventually you're rolling up entire people and cars. It's absurd in the best way possible. With its colorful art, groovy music, and silly story, this is one title I would love to see brought back. Number 8. Burnout 3 Takedown. Even if you're not really into racing games, this is one honestly everybody needs to try at least once. Takedown is a car game for people who just love utter chaos. In races, the goal isn't just to be the first across the finish line, but instead to be the person who manages to skillfully take down every other person on the track. Of all the features in Burnout, nothing is more thrilling than Crash Mode. Here you have one objective: to cause the most carnage possible with a single car accident. By getting up speed and ramming just right, you can wreck hundreds of cars. After every vehicle comes to a complete stop, they tally up your total score. The more you've destroyed, the higher your points. Everything about this is such silly, mindless fun, and I would love to see these explosions in 1080p. Number 7. Dragon Quest VIII: Journey of the Cursed King. The team over at Square Enix is no stranger to huge, epic RPGs, but with Dragon Quest VIII they really outdid themselves. Our tale begins with a court jester unleashing a terrible spell upon the land, turning everybody into plants. Being one of the only people left unaffected, it's time to grab your blade and spring into action. This is a game that, to its heart, is built for role-playing fans. From dungeons filled with interesting puzzles and tough bosses, to a vast overworld that you want to get lost in, Dragon Quest VIII is arguably the pinnacle of the entire series. Personally, I love that all the art is done by Akira Toriyama, the same man who did the character designs for Chrono Trigger. This also happens to be one of the first RPGs with full voice acting, and the entire cast does an amazing job of lending their talents to bring extra life to this world. With the serious lack of great turn-based games coming out in the last few years, I think that this gem would be marvelous to get to conquer all over again with some shiny new graphics. Number 6. Star Wars Battlefront 2. Although we had a Battlefront game come out not long ago, it didn't quite seem to be as big and incredible as the originals. The battles in this game are massive, which is part of what made it so popular. Each map starts out with armies on either side, fighting to control as many command posts as possible and thus crush the opposition. If you do well in combat, you can get a power-up that'll change you into one of the iconic characters of Star Wars. I always enjoyed becoming General Grievous because he has 4 lightsabers that can shred anybody in his path. If you're more into airships and space battles, there's an entire mode dedicated to frantic dogfights. What's really amazing about this mode is that you can fly around and just blast and blow up all the ships around you, or you can choose to actually fly into an enemy cruiser, land, get out of your ship, and sabotage key parts of the engine. All the different layers of gameplay are just astounding, but the biggest draw for me is that if we get this put on the PlayStation 4, it'll be possible to play online again. Number 5. Maximo, Ghosts to Glory. Gamers who grew up playing the ultra-hard Ghosts and Goblins games are probably going to think that this game looks familiar. Maximo was an odd experiment by Capcom to take the classic platformers of the past and bring them to the PlayStation 2, and the results are shockingly fantastic. Our faithful knight is off to save the kingdom when the armies of the dead start rising from their graves. Don't let this hack and slash action make you think that this game is easy. The primary way this game keeps you entertained is with its steep difficulty. The monsters you fight against hit hard, very hard, and they can spawn anywhere. It's challenging and yet fair, because the controls work exceptionally well. Nothing feels better than getting cornered by a tough beast and managing to slay it with your very last piece of health remaining. Quality 3D platformers like this are becoming exceedingly rare, which is just one more good reason that they really need to bring this game out digitally. Number 4. Godhand. During the early eras of gaming, one genre was king, the beat-em-ups. These are games where you just walked along, took out some thugs, earned some money, and kept on walking. I played hundreds of these things growing up. If I were able to bring just one to modern day, it would definitely be Godhand. It is ridiculous in so many ways, but it knows exactly how to have a blast. It quickly teaches you all the rules of brutal combat, and then throws you into the fray. You can choose to learn the deadliest martial arts and defeat people in a few swift blows, or take a different route and instead learn some hilarious wrestling moves. The humor in this game is so eccentric, it tries to subtly mock everything around it while also taking us on a wild ride. In 1 minute you're defending yourself against a team of ninjas, and the next you can be up against a group of men in speedos wearing fancy feathers. More than anything though, I just want to see those crazy costumes updated in high definition. Number 3. Haunting Ground. Meet Fiona, a young woman unfortunately trapped in a creepy castle. If that wasn't bad enough, there's creatures that are lurking in the darkness. This is one of those rare games that is so unnerving, so scary that it's almost hard to beat because of the fear. The tension stays high due to the fact that Haunting Ground does several clever things to keep you terrified. First of all, you have no way to directly kill the monsters who pursue you. Instead, what you have to do is outsmart them and lure them into traps. There's a twist though. When creatures get close to you, it slowly fills up your panic meter. Yes, that's right, this game constantly tracks exactly how freaked out Fiona is. The more she loses her mind, the darker the screen will become, the more often she'll trip, and this can even lead to you missing certain special items. Nothing fills me with more dread than the things that are actually hunting us. They follow you so closely, waiting for you to make one small error so that they can consume you. Never can you let your guard down even for a second and think you're safe. When this game was initially released, it was sadly overlooked. It didn't sell very well, but I think if they re-released it on the PlayStation 4, it would find all new life with all the fresh, horror-loving gamers we have today. Number 2. Beyond Good and Evil. Everyone loves a good underdog story, a tale of someone managing to claim victory against all odds, and at its heart, that's what Beyond Good and Evil does better than anything. Jade and her uncle, who happens to be a giant talking pig, are suddenly launched into the middle of an alien war. Beings from outer space have come in and dominated our planet, and now we have to find a way to overthrow them by any means necessary. Most of the time you have to be stealthy, slipping in and out of areas so that you can steal information without being caught. There's almost a Zelda-like feel to how the dungeons work. Each area has a distinct goal, an object that needs to be claimed, or a boss that needs to be slain in order to continue. For bonus credit, you can also use Jade's camera to document some of the strange species that you come across. Finding out about the world, these cruel creatures we fight against, and also about our heroes is so deep and enriched. With the wide variety of different gameplay styles that all come together in this one game, it always kind of keeps you wondering what could possibly come next in this weird, twisted world. Maybe if they bring it back, more people will start talking about it, and possibly Ubisoft could finally give us that sequel that they promised us. Number 1. Final Fantasy XII. The long-running Final Fantasy series has a lot of fantastic games, but 12 has always been a shining example of daring to be different. While the rest of the major games up to this point had been turn-based, this one opted to be a little more freeform in its style. Characters could now see the enemies before a fight started, and freeze time to set up exactly how they wanted a battle to take place. If you wanted to make regular encounters go faster, you could program how you wanted each member of your party to fight automatically. For bosses, of course, you'd still want to control things directly, but this made it while you were out exploring an area, you didn't have to constantly be stopped by fights. Another thing that really stood out about this is that it didn't have one set protagonist. The story is based around a full cast of deep, well-written people who have fascinating stories to tell. While adventuring, it's hard not to notice that the graphics and music in this game were groundbreaking, and they still look pretty good today. I get so excited thinking about how good this would look in 1080p with some fun trophies for all these challenging bosses. Overall, this game is just amazing, and for that reason, I'm giving Final Fantasy XII my pick as the game that absolutely needs to be put on PlayStation 4. Did your favorite game not make the list? Got an idea for a future top 10? Leave it in the comments down below. If you enjoyed this video, please give it a thumbs up, share with your friends, and subscribe if you haven't already. But do me the biggest favor of all and keep dreaming. And also, if you haven't played Dark Cloud 2, seriously play this game. It's on PlayStation 4 now, and it is incredible. You don't need to play the first one. This game kicks ass. Thanks so much for watching. If you liked this video, maybe check out my last video. Please subscribe, and if you want, share this somewhere with your friends.